As the ANC president, Cyril Ramaphosa, expected to officially open the party's Lekgotla in Boksburg, east of Johannesburg. I'm told he's just begun. Let's take you there live.
Our country alone, at a national level, its share of the vote also fell below 50% in KwaZulu-Natal, in Gauteng, and was just on par in the Northern Cape. Over the last 3 days, the NEC has deliberated quite extensively and in detail on the reasons for this dramatic decline in support, and has had to examine its implications and the actions we now need to take to restore the ANC's support within society. In many ways, we have entered uncharted territory. We've never been here before. We have suffered a strategic setback that has far-reaching consequences and implications for how we're going to conduct the struggle for fundamental transformation of our country. One of the implications of this new situation is that the ANC can no longer govern alone. Faced with this stark reality, the NEC decided that the ANC should give leadership to the country in order to take our country forward by inviting all parties that will subscribe or would subscribe and agree to a set of principles and a transformative minimum program to form a government with us. The NEC meeting held over the past 3 days reaffirmed and declared unanimously the position that the government of national unity is the best tactical option that has the greatest possibility to improve the lives of the people of South Africa. We did not arrive at this decision of forming a government of national unity easily. It is a decision that we took fully aware of the risks and opportunities inherent in this option. We firmly believe this was the best way to form a government that is stable, effective, and that is able to advance the interests of the people of South Africa as a whole. We have entered into this GNU with 9 other parties, some of whom are fundamentally opposed to our perspective on transformation of our economy and society. But that is the nature of governments of national unity all over the world and across different historical periods, as well as geographic areas. They bring together parties from across the political spectrum. For example, at moments when a nation faces national conflict or deep socio-economic challenges that can only be resolved through cooperation. A government of national unity is different from a typical coalition, nor is it a forum of allied or like-minded parties. The first fundamental decision we took was to accept the outcome of the elections with great humility on our part. We accepted that the people of South Africa made it clear that they are impatient with political bickering and endless blame game among politicians and political parties. The people of South Africa want us to put their needs, their interests and aspirations first, and they want us to work together for the sake of our country. We have heard our people, and we will work with our alliance partners and every sector that is willing to contribute to solutions to the challenges our country faces as we transition to a new decade of freedom. And so, even as we undertake our work, substantially changed conditions, we remain firmly committed to the advance of the national democratic revolution and the achievement of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, and democratic and prosperous South Africa. These changed conditions require that we strengthen our resolve and pursue our historic mission with even greater clarity, purpose, and vigor. Rather than see the decline in our electoral support as a defeat, we see it as a call to action. This is not the time to be bitter. It is not also the time to feel defeated. It is the time to be better and to do better. The people of South Africa have said not only that we must do more, but that we must do better, but also that in many respects we must change our ways. The task of this Lekgotla, which are often called the brains trust of our country, because gathered here are leaders from various formations that are interested in the progress of this country. So the task of this Lekgotla is therefore to set out the work that we need to do at this moment, in these circumstances, to build a strong, growing, and inclusive economy that protects and advances workers' rights and offers endless opportunities and livelihoods to the people of our country as a whole. We must spend the next 3 days planning how we will achieve the task of democratic renewal and socio-economic transformation so that no one is left behind as our country enters the 4th decade of freedom. During the course of the election campaign, South Africans were unequivocal in expressing their disappointments and disapproval of our performance in some areas in which we have failed them. Communities told us of instances where our work in government and the achievement of our policy objectives have suffered because of the problems in our own organization. The ANC and our alliance partners agree that the national fault lines of unemployment, inequality, and poverty have persisted despite progress that has been made over the past 30 years in our country. These fault lines have been exacerbated by crises such as the effect of state capture, a once-in-a-century pandemic, the shock caused by the July 2021 unrest, load shedding, and a rising cost of living. These all contributed to widespread loss of confidence in our movement's ability to address our people's concerns. The ANC and the Alliance therefore agree that at this Lekgotla, we must first and foremost focus on the economy and the important issue of economic transformation. As one leader from another country once said, "It is the economy, stupid." And indeed, it is the economy. Our people want a transformed, growing and inclusive economy that creates jobs for millions of job seekers, and that offers business opportunities to our entrepreneurs in our nation, women, men, young and old, urban and rural. Women, as in the past, have once again shown during these past elections that they remain the torchbearers of our democracy. Women are 55% of registered voters. Yes, we should applaud to that. Just to repeat, they remain the torchbearers, the light bearers of our democracy. They are 55% of registered voters and registered a turnout of 62%, well above the national average. Now, they do this because women are community builders, playing a vital role in all sectors of society, even when their contributions are not always recognized or appreciated. Indeed, women bear the brunt of poverty and violence in our society as well. As we craft our contributions towards the program of the 7th administration, we must ensure that we make decisive progress towards the empowerment of women and also to truly have a non-sexist South Africa. Together as the Alliance, we must confront the fact that our economy has barely grown over the last 14 years. Between 2010 and 2024, the average annual GDP growth rate was 1.2% a year. Now, this is anemic growth. This was lower than the rate of population growth over that period. What this means is that per capita GDP has been declining over the last decade and a half. That is why we say that inclusive growth must be our apex priority. This is necessary to create employment, to reduce poverty, and to reduce inequality as well. As Alliance partners, we are determined that growth must be inclusive. It must be transformational as well. Inclusive growth must drive the redistribution of wealth and opportunity in our country. It must support the empowerment of Black South Africans and women and all those who in the past had been relegated to the fringes of the economy of our country. We must continue to protect and uphold hard-won rights of workers and continually strive to improve the conditions in which they work and they live. Inclusive growth demands that we affirm the position of women and youth in the economy and enable the full participation of people with disabilities and other vulnerable groups in our economy. We have demonstrated the value of public and social employment in creating immediate work and livelihood opportunities. Over the next 3 days, we must plan to ensure that these programs are massified and become more effective. We're going to have to come up with innovative ideas of how our job creation processes and initiatives can be massified, as we cannot continue having so many South Africans unemployed. Much work has been done in creating conditions for greater investment in infrastructure, improving mechanisms for planning, financing, and implementation. Over the past 5 years, a lot of work has been done in putting in place capabilities to enable us to be more investment friendly and be able to attract investment so as to push ahead, particularly with investment in infrastructure. But we need to massively increase the scale of investment, particularly in a number of sectors of our economy, and particularly in the new sectors of our economy, the green economy, the hydrogen economy, in agriculture, yes, in mining. Those are areas that are becoming frontiers of growth, the digital economy as well. We need to pay greater attention to infrastructure maintenance. We have worked with stakeholders, including business and organized labor, to develop master plans in important sectors of the economy, focusing on the actions needed to enhance growth in the respective industries, increased investment, creation of jobs, and faster transformation. At this Lekgotla, we need to assess the efficacy of the master plans that we have now put in place and the contribution that they are making to industrialization as well as to local production. We need to focus on our industrial policy to enhance economic growth, and we need to add value to our minerals through beneficiation to generate economic growth. We must be more targeted in the support that we provide to emerging businesses, ranging from black industrialists to small, medium enterprises and cooperatives. We need to look at the impact of this type of support that we have on offer and ensure that it reaches businesses in townships and rural areas. It was during the election campaign, as we crisscrossed the length and the breadth of our country, where we realized that there is a lacuna and a deep gap in the funding of businesses where our people live, the support of businesses in the rural areas, in the urban areas. This is what this Lekgotla also needs to focus attention on. Through the Energy Action Plan, the ANC-led government has reduced the severity of load shedding and